made the choice to drink and drive.
I 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 made the choice to drink and drive.
Hello, I'm Velda Dobson Davis, retired Chief Deputy Warden with the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. And I've had the opportunity to work with men on our new group, Felons Against Distracted and Drunk Driving. One of the things we want to talk about today is the fact that we made choices. I'm just curious, how many of you made the choice to drink and drive more than one time?
I did.
I did.
Hi, my name's Alan. I'm 57 years old. I'm incarcerated for gross vehicular manslaughter, second-degree murder, and hit and run with death involved. I've been incarcerated for 11 years. February 7, 2009, I was going to work, and I went to work early that morning, at 8 o'clock, and I'd only been in California for like 6 days. I came from Colorado. Went to work, got off 2:30. I went to the first bar. First bar was really, really dead. You know, I'd already drank I think 8 beers before I got to the bar. I drank a pitcher of beer in each bar, and I drank another pitcher of beer at that other bar. Got directions to yet another bar. Well, I never made it to that bar. I left there. I made a left-hand turn on Mission Boulevard, and I struck in hit a young girl, a young 24-year-old girl walking out in the street in a crosswalk. I've never seen her.
What didn't happen the first time that made you think that you could do it again and not get caught?
I just didn't think I would end up with what I'm facing with now.
Why were you comfortable making that choice?
Did it like I breathe. I just did it naturally. My name is Robert Cole. I'm from San Jose, California. I'm currently doing 15 to life for gross vehicle manslaughter. My victim was 36 years old. She was in the process of adopting a child. I just got off work. I went to get drunk. Then on the way home, I T-boned my victim in the intersection as she was coming home from church. And I murdered her at the scene.
How old were you when you started drinking?
I was 8.
I was 15.
14.
I was 10.
14.
17. And why did you do it at such a young age?
I'm watching my father and just getting away with it so many times, it just became natural.
My name is Louis Saleh. I'm 35 years old. I'm a father of 2 amazing children, and I'm from Oceanside, California. I've been drinking since I was 12 years old. My earliest memories of my father were of him taking me in and out of bars, drinking, while the people around me would find it amusing. So I decided to enlist in the Army at 17, and I deployed to Iraq twice. Thanks to God, I came home twice. And just like a true alcoholic, I took part-time jobs in clubs so that I can drink on the job. On the night of April 9th, 2016, thinking that I had everything under control, I decided to drive home. And on the way home, I murdered an innocent man.
See, we don't have these type of settings on the streets, so you don't really know the full impact of you drinking and driving. You had to come to prison just to be able to, well, for me, I had to come to prison to really understand the full impact of me drinking and driving, because you're around people that didn't hurt people. A lot of us miss that until we get caught up. I'm Eric Post from Los Angeles, California, and I'm coming from a place where alcohol was used as a tool for everything. I'm a father of 2, and I'm self-employed. At 14, I started running with a dangerous crowd, so to fit in, I started drinking. And then from there, I caught multiple DUIs. And then on my 4th DUI, I received 29 years. So coming to prison, I learned the consequences and the impact from drinking and driving.
How often did you see family drinking?
Every day.
Quite a bit.
Time, every day.
I grew up in a alcoholic family.
All our role models were drinking and using drugs or whatever. So, you know, you need a different role model.
My name is Mike Stanley. I'm 62 years old. I've been married to my wife for 35 years. We have a daughter. She's 31. She has 3 children, and she's married. On June the 28th, 1996, my wife and I and 2 other couples decided to go for a boat ride on Clear Lake, California. My wife was operating the boat, and I got impatient, so I took control of the boat and noticed that I couldn't see out the window. The lights were on, the reflection from the dashboard lights, and the top was up on the boat. There's a zipper in the top of the top just for that, and I was in the process of zipping that open when I struck another boat. There were 6 people aboard that boat. One was killed. He was a young man. He was 21 years old. A college student, a son, a brother, a friend, an uncle. I hurt a lot of people that day. I traumatized countless people over this senseless act. There's a long history of alcoholism in my family. You know, I've been arrested for DUI several times previous to this, and I should have known. That not to do this, but I did it. For my actions that day, I received 46 years to life in the Department of Corrections.
What about the consequences? Didn't you know the consequences when you were young?
I did several programs up there, and they taught me about, you know, that I can hurt or kill someone or even kill myself, and I didn't care, just, you know.
I didn't think I was going to be the one to step out of your vehicle and see somebody bleeding to death in the middle of the road. I thought, you know, with drinking and driving, I'd always make it home.
How many people thought like that? Just by show of hands, how many people thought that they weren't going to be the one that wound up injuring or killing someone?
I thought that would never happen to me. That's how I thought. It's funny. I'm Alan Brown. I'm 58 years old. I'm father to a wonderful daughter and grandfather of 2. I worked in the lighting industry for 15 years. I started using marijuana in my early teens. I married my high school sweetheart 5 years later at 20, and at 26, I was still using when she filed for divorce. I began drinking regularly and chose to drown my emotions, suppress my feelings and problems in alcohol. On July 20th, 2005, I came home from work that day. I had my ordinary 2 tall cans. Then, after a phone call from my daughter and a conversation with my ex-wife, I grabbed my keys and went straight to the bar. I left the bar hours later. Driving past my home, I drove on with the music blaring. I stepped on the gas through a yellow light going 80 to 100 miles per hour. My car had become a missile as I ran the next flashing red, hitting my victim's vehicle and causing it to spin violently. 3 young, innocent boys, one 15 and 2 18, were just going to a girlfriend's house. My victims, one boy, 18, was ejected from the rear seat of the car as the door flew open. He died of blunt force trauma. The other 2 boys were severely injured, hospitalized, and traumatized. They, their loved ones, family, and friends will live with this indelible horror for the rest of their lives. I'm now serving 23 to life in a California State Prison for second-degree murder and bodily injury.
I believe for the alcoholic, the only way to prevent it is to stop drinking, because it's eventually going to happen.
My name is Chris Rigsby. I'm 49 years old and currently serving a life sentence at San Quentin. 8 years ago, I was living in Redwood City, Bay Area, with a girlfriend, my daughter, and two little bulldogs. Went up to Tahoe to go to a father-daughter dance with my daughter, as we always did at that time of year. It happened to be Super Bowl Sunday, and I decided to hang out with my buddy and go to the casino and gamble and drink. His buddy was working at the bar. He was making us drinks that were way too strong, and I was drinking them way too fast. And I thought I was having a good time, but what I was really doing was drinking myself into a blackout. Got in my car and tried to drive all the way back to the Bay Area. I flipped a U-turn on the freeway and ran head on into another car and killed 3 people and seriously wounded 2 others.
I want to talk about this word functioning. How many felt they were a functioning alcoholic?
I was.
I want to dispel that myth. Because the fact is, if you need a drink to make it through a day, you're not functioning. Or if you're able to drink all day long and do any job, you're still not functioning. Because alcohol made you feel normal. It became the balance. And so I just want to kind of talk about how you, in your mind, process the thought that you could drink. You had a right to drink. I remember someone saying that was my privilege after I got off work. Talk about that.
You know, it was my God-given right to drink. But it wasn't my God-given right to take the life of that young 24-year-old girl.
Well, that was my whole thing, was I thought that as long as I went to work and took care of what I needed to take care of, I was allowed to drink whenever I wanted to drink. And
Did you drink while you worked?
I did not. But I thought about it while I was at work, and I was looking forward to doing it as soon as I got off work.
Anybody drank while working?
I was one of the person who you know, start in the morning, going to work, instead of the stop in the liquor store to get a coffee, I'd rather get a beer and, you know, drink it at work and continue working during the day.
My name is Pablo Salinas. I'm 37 years old. I'm father of 2 daughters. When I grew up with alcoholic family. When I was 15 years old, I started to drink. That was my first drink to start becoming alcoholic. In 2007, I got my first DUI. At that time, I almost killed myself. And then I continued drinking, knowing that it was a risk on my life and to other human beings. And my second DUI, I caught him in 2012. They sent me to a programs for 18 months. I finished those programs, but I continued drinking and driving, knowing that it was dangerous to other humans. And I think it was, you know, I can get away with it until 2015, November 8th. I can't forget that day, because that day, after a soccer game, I started drinking, and I made my choice to get my keys and start driving. And 20 minutes later, I caused an accident where this 53-year-old person lost her life, and I injured another 2 persons. And I've been charged with gross vehicular manslaughter, serving a sentence of 15 years to life in state prison.
Hi, my name's Cody Brown. I'm 33 years old, and I'm from Long Beach, California. As a teenager, I started smoking marijuana and drinking at high school parties and celebrations. I saw everybody else doing it, so I thought it was normal. I also knew it was against the law, but because everybody else was doing it, I thought it was okay. I didn't think I had a problem, that I had everything under control, but I didn't. I drank too much, too often, and I regularly drove drunk because I thought I wouldn't get caught. At age 21, I received my first DUI. I was ordered to pay a large fine. I was given drug and alcohol classes, and my license was suspended. I told myself I'd never drive drunk again and that I'd learned my lesson, but I didn't. On December 6, 2008, I was at a house party when a friend asked me to drive her home. I knew I was too drunk to drive, but I did it anyway. After I dropped her off, I kept driving. When I ran a red light, a police officer attempted to pull me over, and I freaked out. I didn't want to go to jail, so I stepped on the gas. After a short high-speed chase, I ran another red light, this time striking another car at approximately 100 miles an hour, instantly killing the young driver. I took the rest of his life from him. I took him from his family and friends. And I'm now serving 15 years to life for second-degree murder.
Mi nombre es Néstor Alegría Hernández. Tengo 37 años de edad. Mayo 29 del 2016 tomé la decisión de tomar y manejar bajo la influencia del alcohol. Esa mañana yo fui al restaurante a desayunar, pedí mi comida, también pedí agua y unas cervezas. Después de eso no recuerdo realmente qué pasó más adelante porque perdí la memoria, estaba inconsciente. De repente recuperé la memoria y me encontraba en otro restaurante. Después volví a quedarme inconsciente y de repente escuché un ruido y era un golpe muy fuerte y era que había tenido un accidente automovilístico. Ese momento fue muy fuerte para mí, me sentía muy mal y me di cuenta que el accidente era grave. Después me perdí otra vez la conciencia y me llevaron al hospital. Estuve en el hospital. Después fui trasladado a la cárcel de Santa Clara. Y el oficial me había dicho que una persona había fallecido en el accidente. Eso me hizo sentir muy mal porque por mi irresponsabilidad de haber manejado bajo la influencia del alcohol, había fallecido una persona. Y estoy muy arrepentido por eso, porque le quité a una familia, le hice daño a mi comunidad donde vivía, le hice daño a mi familia y ahora estoy pagando en prisión y tengo una sentencia de 15 años a vida.
My name is Lauren Mears. On October 29th, 2014, I took my dad for a ride. I had taken sleeping pills earlier in the evening, and an incident happened in the house that woke me up. My dad was upset, I was upset, so my wife and I decided to take Dad for a ride to calm him down. I had forgot I had taken the sleeping pills. I did not feel like I was under the influence, but my thinking and perception was off. So I was going too fast on a mountain road, went wide in a turn, and caught the lip of the road. Not thinking, I hit the brakes very hard. As the Jeep came back onto the road, the Jeep flipped and my dad was ejected. This was on his 94th birthday. It's something that I'll never forget, and I miss him so much. But my wife was also injured. It took a year for her to recover from her injuries. My dad was pronounced dead an hour after the accident. So I'm doing 15 to life now, along with my wife is doing 15 to life, but not behind bars.
My name's Gregory Jones. I'm 53 years old. I'm from Santa Clara, California. I began drinking at the young age of 12. It became progressive, and I also, at the young age of 12, began drinking, drugging, and thugging as a lifestyle. On August 13th, 2016, I was involved in an injury accident. I was fortunate not to be injured myself, nor my wife, who sat in the passenger seat. Unfortunately, my victim was transported to Stanford Hospital with a head contusion, some bruised ribs, and ultimately ended up getting pins in his ankles. He was a motorcyclist. Regarding my guilt in that, I was 100% guilty. I ran the red light that caused the accident, and I now realize that I didn't have the right to drink or to drive and injure this person just going about his life doing his thing. As a result of my poor decision making, I was given a 14-year sentence to state prison in California, and I'm currently serving that. Also, my sentence was enhanced with a DUI with injury, great bodily injury. And I feel bad about it all the time. It's something that I can't change, but something that I have to live with. And I hope that at one point, someday in the future, through practices of restorative justice, I may have an opportunity to express my deepest sorrow for what I've done for my victim directly to him, face to face.
My name is Richard Prosser. I'm from Bakersfield, California. I began drinking at the age of 12 years old, shortly after my father was sent to prison for beating my mother in front of me. I guess I could say I drank to kind of fill the void that was left. I kind of felt betrayed by my father. Like how could he leave me and my mother with my sisters like this? And later on, I saw acceptance through my friends. I partook in the parties and went out consistently with friends to drink, smoke marijuana, use party drugs like ecstasy. When I turned 18 years old, I met a woman that worked at a Sonic in our neighborhood, and we began dating. 2 months later, I decided to drink and drive with her in my passenger seat. We were actually going out to get some food, and on the way home, about a block from her house, I decided to drive very recklessly, and that resulted in loss of control of my vehicle. I rolled my truck and hit a tree, where I had then gotten out and ran around to my passenger side, where I had found my girlfriend, who was deceased, and I'm currently serving an 11-year sentence for manslaughter and DUI causing great bodily injury or death.
This isn't something that can happen to you. This is something that you can do to somebody else and affect them and their families if you choose to drive drunk.
That is never okay to drink and drive.
Stay home or get a designated driver, but please do not drink and drive, not even with 1 drop of alcohol.
I wish I had it to do all over again. Just don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. Don't think of yourself. That's what I have to say.
My message to you is not to scare you, it's to warn you that if you keep using your car as a weapon, it's like playing Russian roulette.
You can hurt anybody, even yourself, you know, or kill yourself or kill another person, or, you know, anything can happen with you, you know, behind the wheel while you're drinking.
Think before you put the keys in that ignition. You know, I didn't set out to take anybody's life that morning, but unfortunately I took a 24-year-old girl's life, and she didn't deserve to die that way.
Our goal is to save lives. Since we've been sitting here, someone has killed someone drinking and driving. People just like you that worked lives, that had families, that were trying to do the right thing, but had the addiction of drinking. We want to make sure that people understand their consequences, and you're living those consequences, but that they're making a choice. And so we challenge society to realize that it's not an innocent drink. It's not a harmless drive, that you could ruin not only the lives of your victim, but your victim's family and your families as well, and spend the rest of your life in prison.